How do you go about, cutting down the story that came from the heart? Because you said it's very personal. There are a lot of references to your youth in this movie.
Well, it's one of those things where if I was writing a book, you could leave it all in and it would be fine and you just have to pull it off the writing. But a movie is a movie. So it's almost like you got to look at it as like, I can like everything individually, but you got to think about it like finding a sculpture inside of a block of granite.
Okay.
So you got to just chip it away, and then you find the sculpture underneath. So what's in that block of granite is the movie, not just everything, but the movie. All right. So that's how you kind of work it.
You obviously drew from your youth. I mean, you have a great history and a great relationship with the city of LA and the Manson murderers. And Sharon Tate is based on a real character. What about, Cliff and Rick? Did you draw from anything that you've experienced over the years? I mean, did you hear any stories because they're fictitious characters?
Yeah, no, very much so. I mean, like, Rick in particular is kind of based on about like 5 different actors from the 60s who were popular on television and had a chance to go to movies and didn't quite pull it off, and then ended up, and by the 70s, they were back on television again. So he was kind of made up as a composite of about 5 or 6 of those people. But then Brad's character, Cliff, is actually based on one stunt guy in particular that I'd heard about from a friend of mine who said that it was one of those guys that I brought him up to different stunt guys, and everyone knew him. Everyone knew of this guy, and apparently he was like one of the most dangerous guys that was ever in Hollywood.
You took those stories and then created the character Cliff Booth.
Because I thought the idea of an actor and a stunt double team was a really interesting way to look at a movie about Hollywood.
What do you do if you have sort of like a writer's block or ideas block?
Well, I normally don't have writer's block. My situation is I write too much. All right, that's right in here. All right, so it's usually that's never my issue. And even if every once in a while, if I have writer's block, I just figure it's not happening that day, so I put down the pen, and the next day it's usually fine. But in this situation, it wasn't like I was trying to do it and I couldn't finish it. I wasn't in any particular hurry. I wanted the piece to tell me when I was done. So it was like, so in between each project, I'd write it a little bit more and just take it to a certain point, then leave it. And then all of a sudden, this last time, it just went and I go, I guess I'm going to finish it.
Leo, Brad, I mean, whom you've both worked with, and Margot in front of the camera. Is that a dream come true? Did you write the characters with them in mind, or was that something that you said, no, I'm not going to call Santa Claus because it's not going to work?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be so presumptuous to think that, like, I'm going to write it for Leo and Brad and it's all going to work out. You have to assume that might not work out. They have to respond to the characters. They have to respond to the right characters, all that kind of stuff. Now, in this instance, it all worked out great. So I did have them in mind, but until they read it, I couldn't count on them doing it.
It's so amazing to see the two of them on the big screen. When they finally said yes and you found your Sharon Tate, what did you think? I mean, was that sort of like...
Oh, no. I thought, wow, it's like, well, I guess what I thought at the end of the day was, this is my movie to mess up, all right? Because I've got the perfect Sharon Tate, I've got the perfect buddy duo, so if I don't pull off a terrific movie, it's all on me.
If there was an end with the 10th movie, would you say that the 9th movie was the one that you always wanted to make because it's so dear to your heart, so close to your family and your personal history?
Well, I'd put it more like this. I would put it like, if you think about the idea of a filmography that's going to be 10 films where to some degree or another they're all kind of connected to each other, maybe they all make one movie if you connect them together like boxcars, then I'm not saying this will be the case, but I could imagine this being like the big climax of those 9 movies, and maybe the 10th movie is a little bit more epilogue-y in feeling.
A little smaller.
Yeah.
A small Quentin Tarantino, okay, different.
Like an epilogue. You read a book and then there's the epilogue after this. I can see the movie, but I might completely change my mind. But right now, that's what it seems like. This seems like the big finish.
Is it easy for you to let go of the story and of the movie because you're happy to focus on something new?
No. Well, I am going to be happy to start thinking about something new for just for the fun of it and everything, but not so much a movie, just other writing things I could be doing. But no, I'm happy to get done with it. I worked really hard on it, but to me, the payoff is when I'm done and I watch it with an audience.
Okay, so that is basically one of the benefits.
No, I mean, yeah, that's when everything I've done starts coming to roost. All right, that's when, that to me, that's the payoff. That's when the garden grows.
Researching that time period, the end of the 60s, you were around 7, I think, or 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Did it all come natural back to you? I mean, the television series, the music on the radio, the scenery, or was it something that you had to research, or was it in the back of your head that just popped up?
It was a lot of it was right there, but then it was also a thing like, in America, back then, a magazine that everyone read was TV Guide. It let you know what was on TV and everything.
I still remember that as well.
Yeah,
I mean, that's been on for a long time.
Yeah,
I mean, it still exists.
Yeah, and so it was great to get a TV Guide and just see what was playing, what was airing at this time and that time. So the research I did was like little things like in Brad's trailer, when he's there feeding his dog and watching TV, the Mannix episode that's on TV was the Mannix episode that aired that Saturday on February 8th, 1969.
Really? Okay, so that much in detail did you go?
Yeah, even like Robert Goulet singing MacArthur Park. That was on Hollywood Palace that appeared an hour before Mannix on that night, February 8th, 1969.
Oh my goodness.
So that's how specific we got with it.